Welcome back to another episode of Twisted Metal Companion. I'm Peter. You guys, we have somebody from season one and two making his triumphant return. We have Tahj Vaughans, who plays Mike. How you doing, sir?
Doing well. How you doing, my friend?
I'm doing good. You are the first person to make their return. So, I mean, Twisted Metal, right? So, like, not a lot of people are gonna survive, but I'm happy that, we got to see the return of Mike in season
Thank you.
two. So,
Thank
yeah, first and foremost, what has the reception been like now that all 12 episodes are out? Friends, family, fans who remember you from season one?
you. It's been nice. There have been DMs coming in, people excited to see me come back. People also, dismayed at the demise. But not to spoil it, but
Oh,
it's
we're gonna
been
spoil it.
great.
Yeah, so, all the spoilers because it's all out now. So,
Okay, okay, okay,
it's
okay.
been over a week. Yep, 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 yeah,
Right,
totally
right, right.
good. Yeah, yeah.
I'm big on like protecting the bingers and stuff, so like that's why I was, but um But no, it's been great. It's been a blessing, to be honest. The DMs come in, just the camaraderie of the cast and crew, as all of this has been unfolding, the reception by the critics and everything. It's been great. It's been great. The show turned out
Yeah,
really well.
yeah, season two, the last time I checked, 92% Rotten Tomatoes, so definitely not a sophomore slump. And it just continues to be praised by fans and critics all alike. So that's amazing. And
Yeah.
I just wish more people were finding it and not maybe being put off by, like if you're just kind of a casual person, or even if you didn't know Twisted Metal, maybe that sweet tooth clown mask is scaring people away. Who knows? But something I said about Cobra Kai when it first came out on YouTube Red, I was like, this is criminally underseen. And I still feel that way with Twisted Metal, despite it, dropping between, one and three for several weeks. So
Right.
at least people are watching it. It just, I hope more people talk about like the production value and how it's
Mhm.
made because it's like, it's next level. No pun intended with the
Yeah.
games.
And I think
Um,
that it will be still an uprise on, you know what I mean, as time
yeah.
goes forward, because sometimes people find it late, and things of that nature. But overall, I mean, I've been, it's been a blessing, it's been a blessing. So,
Yeah, absolutely. And there's some people that just prefer the binge. They don't want to have to wait weekly.
hmm
And who can blame them with some of these cliffhangers, right? In season
yeah,
two, I wouldn't want to wait. But, for the nature of what we do, just trying to make a presence and create content that people might want. The people who want just more than episodes,
right.
the interviews, the
hmm
the behind the curtains, seeing how, the cookies made and all that stuff. Taj, when did you first find out that Mike was returning? Oh, and also, for those that maybe found us more recently and are still kind of figuring out how we do the interviews, I got a season one interview with Taj that I will put the link in the show notes to learn more about you. So that way we don't have to kind of go back and relearn.
Okay,
We got that interview. So
great.
yeah, let's just focus on Twisted Middle. Yeah,
Okay.
so the call. Yeah, how'd you find out?
So, the call, the call, I want to say MJ may have called me. I don't know if that happened first or if the email came first from my agents, but um, just saying that, I was coming back and I was super excited, man. Like I can't even put it in words, but I'm happy to see that for sure.
Oh yeah, I bet that was really exciting. Do you have insight if it was something that they kind of already planned, or did it just come up in the writers' room this season?
I'm not sure, honestly,
Yeah.
because I wasn't sure which way they were gonna go with it after the way things ended in season one. But you know what I mean? Like I wasn't sure,
Yeah, yeah.
but lo and behold, they made the decision to bring Mike back, and I'm glad they did. It was a lot more going on, like moving pieces in this season two. So it was really cool to
Yeah,
experience.
before finding that sliver of your profile in one of the teasers, like when you're
Yeah,
standing like amongst the
I
ranks,
laughed.
yeah, it hit it a little bit. We're just like, wait, 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 is that Tosh? We were so excited. But yeah, before seeing you on there, we were we hadn't finished our season one breakdowns yet, and leading into season two, we wanted to make sure we hurry up, hammer those down. And when we got to that scene, we're like, no way this does not get addressed. Like if Stu is showing up in season two and Mike isn't, we got to find out what happened with Mike.
Yeah,
And the way they did it was so brilliant too, because you guys gave us exposition. We're like, there it is, you
yeah,
know. So it was great because we want to know. It's just like, was
mm,
that real? Was that fake? Dream sequence? No, like what happened?
yeah.
Um, yeah. So I'm kind of curious. Now, did you get kind of like any sort of explanation or context about the not only the Mike and Stu pairing, but the Mike and Dave pairing, which I stumbled upon just doing research. Like, oh, is there a Dave in Twisted Metal? And sure enough, there is one.
Yes, so I wasn't I didn't know to the extent of where it was going, but I knew that there was going to be another party involved and that we were going to have kind of like this buddy triangle that it was going to be funny. But as far as like the details, I didn't know, but I just knew kind of like the shape that it was taking.
Yeah, so for context for those that don't know from the games, and Tahj, if you know anything different, please correct me if I'm wrong. The way I understood it in Twisted Metal Part One, the video game, there's already a pairing of Mike and Dave who drive
Mhm,
Hammerhead, which I believe is also stolen. Stu doesn't show up until Twisted Metal Game Two,
mhm.
and they're still driving Hammerhead, and it's not specified whether it's the same Mike, but now it's also Mike and
Mike and
Stu.
Stu.
It's yeah, so I
Mhm.
love how they give you Mike and Stu in season one,
Yeah.
introduce Dave in two, ultimately still getting the pairing of Mike and
Hmm.
Stu in the back half of season two. So crazy, dude.
Yeah, it was
It's like
cool.
trying to this is the puzzles.
The way they put it together
So
is genius. It really is.
it really is. It really is. So let's start with this, okay? Actually, maybe I'll put this question towards the end,
Go
as
for it.
part of a wrap up kind of thing here. But let's start with you returning to season two. If you can share like reuniting with familiar faces, maybe fitting. Like I don't know the order right of the timeline, so like if you can talk about fitting, seeing Liz Vestola again,
Yeah,
MJ, obviously
yeah.
Mitch and Samoa Joe, seeing the regular faces again. What was that like?
There were a lot of big hugs. There definitely were. It was great seeing their faces again. Seeing MJ walking up, seeing his smile. "I'm glad you're back. Yeah, me too. Um, Joe's great. Seeing Stephanie, seeing Anthony, of course, Stu. Seeing my boy Mitch, meeting Johnno, Tiana, everybody, Sailor. Like it was great seeing the familiar faces, great meeting the new faces. It was really beautiful. It was a great time. Like I'll never forget it.
Yeah, I can only imagine it's like almost like a high school reunion, right? You're
Yeah.
just catching up and all that. I can only imagine. Okay, so Johnno Wilson who plays Dave. If you can talk about okay, so they're bros, right? Like these are
Hmm.
even Dave mentions like, oh, my bestie and all that stuff. It's such a great interaction and introduction to this new character within this trio. I love that scene so much, especially how like the way Mike presents the slash on the back. It's almost as if he's putting on like a presentation,
Yeah.
and there's that point where Dave's like helping him with the shirt. It's like, thank you, Dave, thank you. Like
Yeah.
I love that, because it's almost like this is his helper, and it's almost
Hmm.
like this is routine. They've done
Hmm.
this before.
Right.
I love that. But if you could talk about like how did you guys, or if you guys had to do anything to kind of establish this bond? Because like, time has passed and now we as the audience are catching up on this. Did you and Jono do anything separate in terms of trying to get a rhythm, a flow of your guys' dynamic?
Well, Jono is a hell of a comedian, for one.
Yes.
And I come from theater as well, so um, I think that our personalities just really hit it off from the jump. But the backgrounds, even though they're different, but both with two different art forms, I think that we just kind of were able to play off of each other very well. You know what I mean? Oftentimes, Jono's saying the most hilarious, like y'all couldn't even hear everything that, because they have to choose a take, but oh my gosh, he's hilarious. So it was just great laughing at with him during his antics on set. And we all hung outside of set as well too. So we were able to establish a bond, feel each other's personalities, as well. But that's really all it took. It was very like easy to work with Johnno. Like he's very great.
Okay. Now, Dave's lines. I know these would be questions for him, but were a lot of that Dave had to say, were a lot of that on paper? Did Jono do any improvising for any of these?
There's improvising everywhere, but there's also a
Wow.
great writing room, as well. So like a lot of times you don't have to, but then if you do it by the book on take one, then take two, three, four, five, you might play with it a bit, you know what I mean? Whatever the case may be, depending on how many you have. Some moments, we do stick to, what is written, for the most part, because you don't want to disrespect the writers, and the writers are also great on the show. So, um, but there are times like where there's a funny moment where we might ad lib something extra or play with the words a little bit, so.
Yeah, because I love like Dave and Stu's exchanges, especially when they're first meeting for that first time. You know, Stu's trying to process everything like, what? You replaced me? Like we're literally childhood friends. You know, might as
Yeah,
well have been born with like pacifiers together.
you're right.
But I just love the little like one of the moments that always sticks out to me is when Dave says something like, "Yeah, I'm glad I didn't eat him because I would have missed out on like a really great friendship." And
Yeah,
and Stu's like, "Right, because you would have eaten him." And Dave's like, "Right, because I would have eaten
right.
him." Like that, just that little back and forth, like it just keeps trailing off. Like I just love that so much. It's truly like a. I don't know if it may be a scene that we don't talk often enough, but about enough, but it's just a and it's not even like the introduction of Dave. It's like everything that's going on,
Hmm.
and then also if you can share kind of like I don't know if you had to prepare for kind of like the reaction of seeing Sweet Tooth again, right? Because there's also this, and I love how Tyler, because like I felt like Mike's reaction was a little understated. I'd go, wait, this guy trying to kill him, like he's a little bit more upset. I would have been, you know, I was just kind of questioning the way it was played, and Tyler made a good point. He's like, well, it's more like, oh wait, you still with this guy? This is the guy that
Yeah,
killed me. You're still with him, so he's more
yeah,
upset, more pissed
yeah.
off
Hmm.
than he is like scared of the Sweet Tooth. So like I was like,
Right.
oh, that's yeah, you're right. So if you
Because
could
we're
talk
all
about
in
that
this
moment.
world, I'm sorry.
No, no, no. Yeah.
We're all in this world, like this twisted world. So we've seen some awful things, but I think that in that moment, what really triggered Mike more than you know he slashed my back open, um,
Hmm.
is that my best friend betrayed me. You
Right.
know what I mean? Like my best friend, like you're still hanging with the guy that you thought killed me. Like what's
Hmm.
going on here, So I think that underlying, there's that underlying fear for sure. He's definitely scared of Sweet Tooth, or at the least uncomfortable around him. You know what I mean? But yeah, I think it cut him a little bit deeper than the cut on his back to see, Stu still with him.
Yeah, I would say it's like that long-term relationship, and it's not only like, oh, hey, it's good to see you. It's like, oh, you've moved on, and with somebody,
That you thought
like
led to my demise.
yeah, yeah, it's a lot to process and super emotional. Yeah, I love the way Sean Diston wrote that dialogue. Um, Episode 6. What do you remember about the bus? Shout outs to Mike Shaw who mentioned it was hot as hell.
It was.
But
It was hot.
yeah, if I
That's the
think
first
Kate,
thing that popped in my mind.
yeah, Catherine East, who Kate who plays Frostbite. She also mentioned that. Yeah, what else do you remember kind of filming on the bus?
It's also scenes like that make the cast that much closer because you know what I mean? Like we're all in full uniform. It's super hot, but at the same time we're in there laughing, joking around between takes, keeping each other going, and then also, we get there early, you know what I mean? So like there's a lot of camaraderie on set. The bus itself, um, could be tricky at times, like going down the steps. 'Cause, we had to one scene we wore. I can't remember the episode, but we wore the bags over our head. So you know what I mean?
Oh, I think that was 11 or maybe
Yeah.
10. 10, or maybe it was episode 10.
So like scenes like that were both fun and challenges, making sure nobody falls. You make sure you don't fall on anyone. You can obviously see through the bags a bit. They're a little sheer. So you know it helps. But um, but yeah, it was definitely a bonding moment
Yeah.
experience.
You guys were kind of in the trenches together. Like everybody is like probably a hot and well, not even hot and bothered. That's not the right expression, but there's a term. It's just miserable. It's just miserable. It's hot. So I'm surprised. Maybe there was and it wasn't strong. There was no AC in the bus.
Well, you gotta be
Too
careful
many
with that
people.
because of sound, you know what I mean, and
Mm,
things of that nature too. It's not hot at first when we get there. Like we weren't like passing out. It wasn't we weren't passing out, but it was definitely hot on the bus though. The sun came up,
yeah.
and it's a big difference between 9:30 a.m. and 11 a.m. You know what I mean when the sun's comes up.
Yeah, I obviously we would have loved to have seen Mike a lot sooner, but it's wild that they waited till episode 5 because it's a great reveal. Like it builds up to that because by that time we probably already kind of forgotten about the Mike and Stu pairing, and so like Stu's off on his lonesome, he's walking around and he's got this look on his face, and we're like, what is it? What is it? For me, because I like since I came across seeing you in one of the teasers. I was like, "Is this it? Are we gonna see Mike now?" So it was great. I'm getting chills, kind of reliving that moment, seeing you again for the first time. But in that episode, what was it like filming where you come in episode 5 and some of these new characters have already been established in the previous episodes? Was there a way to kind of get you caught up on some of these characters? Because if you weren't in an episode, you're not getting that script, and so you don't know what happens.
Yeah. So there was some things that we were privy to. Of course, you get some episodes to read and things of that nature up to that
Mm,
point. So that helps a lot. But um, some things you pick up as you go. You know what I mean? That's also part of the job. So you get there, you talk to people, you ask them like what their story, is their backstory that either they planned or that it's written, things of that nature. You just get a feel for everything and you just play off of each other and
mhm.
what you were privy to.
Right, right. Yeah, because so much it's crazy because I believe episode 5 is one of the shorter ones, but so much happens in there. You got Mayhem going around instigating. You're also meeting Vermin for the first time.
Mhm.
We'll put a pin on that
Lisa's
character
great.
later.
Yeah,
She's
Lisa is
she's
great.
hilarious. I really only knew her from like her. I think it's just one episode on Jury Duty prior to her being cast, so I wasn't familiar with her comedy and
Yeah,
stuff. But I enjoyed her character on Jury Duty, so I recognized the name when she was announced for season 2. I'm like, oh, that's hell yeah! Like
yeah,
she's funny as shit.
yeah. She's been
And
killing it
is
for
she
sure.
funny as shit in this in this season? Uh, the lunch line and the cafeteria scene. What do you remember about filming those? This is really I don't know if it was intentional, and maybe you can shed some light. But when Mike and Dave grab their food, drinks, or whatever, they sit down across from each other, and they're both drinking a bottle. But the way they drink, it's not necessarily synchronized, but I did notice that it's kind of mirrored.
Did it?
Was that intentional or was
That
that
was
an
just
accident? No.
that probably was an accident.
Okay.
That was the bond.
Right. Yeah.
That's funny.
That's crazy. That's a happy accident. Yeah, because you guys are both facing the same way and it's the opposite arm. So it's literally you guys are mirroring each other drinking the beer.
I
So I
love that.
thought that
It's
was
hilarious.
intentional. So that's hilarious. Yeah. But yeah, I did not expect to see Axel try to. First off, all we've seen of him was drinking gasoline, so I was a little surprised. I was like, oh, he eats
Yeah,
food apparently too. Okay,
yeah.
so yeah, what do you remember about filming the scene in the line and in the cafeteria?
Um, it was a lot of reactions, mostly to everything that was going on around the fight between Sweet Tooth and Graham was definitely that's a highlight because Joe gets up so quick. No, and it just happens so fast, so it's very easy to react to. Um, Frostbite going through the door is just the door. You know,
Right.
that was hilarious.
And to
The
see it unfold, because like, yeah, I've spoken with Kate already at this point, and we've talked ad nauseum about
yeah, she's great.
Frostbite's first line. Well, kind of her second line, because her first line was she was getting the physical, right, with the
Mhm.
doctor. And this is kind of, see, the thing is, like, in that scene, everyone, we're about to be called up upon to make your wish kind of thing. But Sweet Tooth and Grim already sitting and like staring each other down. So you're already getting that tension between the two people. And never mind the score that's also ramping up. So you're like, man, it's getting tense, getting tense. Frostbite walks up, and it's just a door, but still goes in. It's just like, "Oh, wait, what?"
Mhm.
Because they were, yeah, really building up that tension, and just the little throwaway line that's
Right.
almost comes off a little meaningless, but it's so funny.
Yeah, it's hilarious. And another thing about that scene too is that's when we were first asked to think about what we would wish for as well,
Mm,
you know. So that was really that was a big moment I think for everybody, well all of the characters, you know what I mean, to like where um now we're really getting to the meat and potatoes, like what do I want? Like if there's one thing that I could choose, you know what I mean? What would it be? Um so that kind of raises the stakes a bit, you know, even more because now you're it's not making it physical, but you're putting it to the front of your mind. Like we're not just
right.
trying to win, we're trying to win this. You know what I mean? It was really
Right.
cool.
Yeah, yeah. And so you mentioned the wish. Mike gets cut off by vermin.
Mhm.
Do you have insight into why we didn't get to hear Mike's wish? And if you're able to share whether you know if he had a wish in mind. Oh, clearly, because he was about to share it, but if
Yeah.
you have any knowledge of what it was.
Not is scripted because of course she cuts him off, but I think Mike would have just wished like to have things back the way that they were. You know what I mean?
Mm,
When it was just him and his friends, he just wants to be with his friends and safe. Because that's really he'll turn to whoever. You know, he'll be the darkest, he'll be the sweetest, but he'll be whoever he needs to be to make sure that him and whoever's rocking with him are safe and secure. You know what I mean? He just wants to be on the right
yeah.
side of the fight. You know?
It may not even be too dissimilar than what we find out Stu wished for, huh?
Hmm.
Because Stu misses his buddy,
Hmm.
and I feel, since him and Mike are so tight, like
Hmm.
it probably would have been like in a similar
Yeah.
vein. Uh, Episode 8, the intervention.
Mhm.
First off, whose idea was to put all the furniture up against the door, because that didn't work, right? Like, was
Yeah.
it Stu's idea? Who
No,
are we
that thing
blaming for that?
that was the writers. It was them.
Oh, no, no, I know that, but in universe, because
Mhm.
I think Mike was the one like, oh, that should do it, or whatever it is, and then Axel comes like opening the door just fine, and everything's still stacked up. It's hilarious, but
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
yeah,
um I think that I mean Mike has that line, you know, like you said, now nobody's getting in here. You know, I think he definitely was for it. If it wasn't his idea, he was the second vote.
right,
You know what I mean? So
right,
for
yeah, yeah.
sure.
But yeah, what would you remember from the intervention, and then anything you could add about the? I love after Axel like figures it out, like he was already a murderer before the gasoline. I just love that Axel. Like I love
Yeah.
that's so funny.
um the intervention scene was so hilarious. But I will say like Mike Shaw, he really did his thing because um for it to be such a hilarious story, he really personalized it and made, you know, it was sad, you know what I mean? So you could feel for him. And then, of course, you know, we're saying our little things, you know, tidbits to keep it light, but um, it was just a really nice balance of a moment to see, a balance in a moment to see and to experience. Um, Speaking of acting wise, you know, now we were all cracking up during the entire scene, you know, from beginning to end, from Dave's up in here. He's like at the beginning of it, I
Wait, hold on,
died.
yeah.
When he did that the first time, I died.
Thank you for bringing that up. I can't get a good read on that. Was that supposed to be kind of like a nod to like Nelly's like hot? Like I don't. What
Like
was
just the
that
word,
supposed to
just the
be?
just yeah,
Yeah,
like just the word. I don't know if it had any specific tie to Nelly, but just the just the antic of it and the accent on it that he used, it was just hilarious.
it is.
And he when he did it the first time, it was out of the blue, and I think everybody cracked up. It was great.
It's funny because like Stu has a line that kind of repeats that too,
Yeah,
and
he
then like
comes.
Mitch tries to match it. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's a so great.
it's
I
great.
I'm sure people that follow me on Instagram have picked up on this. Like 8 and 9 are probably my two favorites.
Yeah.
That week in particular, I had so much like strong feelings about those episodes that
Mm.
all the episodes are still great, but I keep going back to watching 8 and 9, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
And
so good.
is which one is prom?
Prom's 9.
Nine. Okay, I thought okay.
Va va
Yeah,
voom.
yeah.
Yeah,
That's
we'll
yeah.
get there, my friend.
That was a fun one. That was a
It sounds
really
like it.
oh man.
Yeah. Yeah, the Axel. Anything to add to that? It's just that's just what it was.
Say that one more time.
Cheering on, following Axel. That just is there
That was
anything to that?
that was I want to say that was I know MJ gave us gave us that note to chase him out with the axle. I don't know whose idea it was, but I just know it came from MJ. So
Okay,
that was hilarious. We literally ran down the hall, probably as far as we could behind me, you know what I mean?
yeah.
Screaming Axel. It was pretty funny.
So that wasn't originally scripted. That was kind of something like, hey, try this on the spot.
Um, I don't want to lie to you.
Yeah. Okay.
I feel like it was something that was added. You know what I mean? It could have been from the writers, but I know MJ gave the note. But as far as was it in the script, I can't recall, not
Yeah.
clearly.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that Stu comes in just, a couple beats behind, maybe because, he's like, if we're taking it back to school, right? And we're kids, it's like that bigger kid that's like behind the lines, straggling a little bit.
Mm,
Axel, even his own cadence, like he's not even
yeah.
like, saying in sync with Dave and Mike. All right, the massacre scene. So you guys are watching Axel just slaughter the Apocalypse
Oh yeah.
Nine. So there specifically I want to ask about like direction and stuff like that for your guys' coverages
Mm.
reacting to Axel. What was that like?
Um. So of course, when he's beating them up, we're reacting to all of that as well. We're taking it
Okay.
step by step, things of that nature. They are pickup shots where like they might say, okay, he just did this or he just did that. Okay, this is the heads rolling over here. You know what I mean? Type of thing. So it's like a blend of them both, and it's all just that post production magic that brings it all together.
Yeah. Anything you remember about Vermin's crane kick? She doesn't do a crane kick, but she does the crane pose
Mm.
at one point. It actually might have been right before the boys show up. I think it was just like all the girls that were in that room reacting to the Apocalypse Nine. But
Oh yeah.
she gets into the like you just see her off to the side. She just busts out the crane a little bit.
So are you speaking about when she strung up the
Eh,
guy in the janitor closet, or
It's
where you
after
talking?
that. It's basically they are reacting to the Apocalypse Nine showing up right before Axel and the boys
Come in.
bust
Oh,
into the room. Yeah.
I don't
I
know.
wonder if it was improvised or if it was,
Oh,
scripted
that
or
I'm not sure. Knowing
okay.
Lisa can come up with something like that. So it could have been. It's possible.
Okay. All right. The prom episode. I've been, waiting to speak to somebody that was in that episode. Because Frostbite, we lose her before the prom, and
Hmm.
then let's see, I spoke with Mike Shaw, who still need to get him back on to talk about this. But yeah, what do you remember about like your fitting for your orange suit? You and Dave, or I'm sorry, you and Johnno, Dave and Mike are wearing basically the what Dumb and Dumber is wearing.
Right.
So you could talk about like if you guys tried like any other versions of the suits, or was that always it?
Um. No, I think mine was always orange. We of course got measured and everything. It had great seamstresses in the costume department. They put everything together. When we saw each other in our suits in our tuxes for the first time, we were going crazy. Like it was really fun. And yeah, yeah, that's it was just really surreal because we grew up watching that movie. You know what I mean? So like it was really cool to represent. You know what I mean? That
Oh yeah.
to take that trip into nostalgia.
Yeah, Dumb and Dumber is one of my favorite comedies. I mean, I quote it so often. I mean, the soup du jour, the soup of the day. Like that is one of my one of my favorite lines from the movie. There's a point we get a bit of kind of a nickname for the trio here. It's called the Three Bromigos.
Bromigos.
What do you remember about filming that particular part and also like the photo booth? Because it sounds like Mike and Dave were having a hell of a time inside that photo booth.
Yeah. The photo booth was hilarious. It's a small booth, so we got three fully grown men in this booth, and we're looking into the camera. We're taking the pictures and stuff. It was hilarious because it's so silly. You know what I mean? And we had a good time. It was funny.
You
It was
know if
funny.
that was a actual functioning one, or is that something they built and they just stuck a camera in there?
So they believe that they built it, and they had a rig inside, and they took pictures and videoed, things of that nature. Mm.
Yeah, because I was wondering about the pictures that actually fall out, and then when we look at the strip and stuff, I'm just like, oh, is that an actual one? Like it could be effects and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Um, Okay, so there's actually there's a coverage where Vermin is letting her hair down and dancing to Butterfly. Was there any specific instructions or directions for you guys reacting? Because there's a point where Mike is like nudging Dave as if like, "Yo, look, hey,
And you
look
said
at
at what
her."
point now?
It's when Vermin lets her hair down and
Hmm.
starts dancing to that song Butterfly.
Yeah.
And there's a part where Mike is like nudging Dave, like, "Hey, hey,
Yeah.
hey, you see this?"
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
kind of like that.
Speaking to that moment, like it's just I didn't know she had it in her. You know what I'm
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
saying? Like, oh man, look at this. It's crazy. So yeah, that was a choice. It worked out well. You know what I mean?
It
It was
did.
pretty cool.
It did.
Yeah.
I mean, and the song choice over that too, like it
Yeah.
plays into everything. So yeah, I think what Mike does is basically how everyone's reacting. Like if you didn't know what Lisa Gilroy looked like before, it's like we've seen this woman in just like dirt makeup and
Yeah.
green paint on her nose,
Right.
and so like it's a little less of that, but it's like whoa, hey, she's got actually very nice hair, and
Yeah.
okay, just a little bit cleaned up, she's still okay.
Yeah.
So. It's a really great moment. I love it for everybody there. Um, Now Mike and Dave's dance sequence. If you can talk about, was there a choreographer on set?
Yes. 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 There were
Okay, yeah.
there were two. Hmm.
If you could talk about that process, because I love that dance too. There's a little like New Jack Swing to that, or is it Bill Biv
Yeah.
DeVoe? But it's
So
very
we
nostalgic.
we actually did the choreography to the song Poison.
Mm.
Yeah, yep. And so it was fun. They took me and Johnno into this area where they were choreographed the fights and the dances and things of that nature. And we jumped right into it. We brainstormed some things. They already had like a dance prepared. We shifted some things, gave out, you know, um, our certain suggestions. We all collaborated on it and it came out really well.
Yeah, there's a little house party in there too. So like
Yeah,
house
yeah,
party,
yeah. The
Bill
kid
Biv
in play.
DeVoe, like all of it looked very familiar. It was just pulling at all different,
Yeah,
nostalgic heartstrings. I'm just like, oh my God, like
yeah,
I love it so much. And the fact that they even have that down already, that speaks to their relationship too. So I can understand
yeah,
Stu, right? Like being fear of missing out, the FOMO, the FOMO is
yeah,
real.
yeah,
There's a real record scratch moment. Me and Tyler, we were joking about it in our commentary where Stu offers up like the chicken fingers. It's like, oh, it's not people fingers.
yeah,
And even we were like, man, Stu, that's fucked up. And
yeah,
we just thought it would have been so funny if there's a DJ there. If
yeah,
there was like a literal record scratch, and
Yeah.
even everybody is all like, dude, man, that's fucked up. Like, what the hell?
Yeah.
Like everybody's shady. So,
Yeah.
but anyway, yeah.
That'd be hilarious.
Anything if you have anything to share about that moment?
Um, Hilarious, also pivotal moment because
Yes,
that's when things are revealed that Dave has going on. That I
they
guess,
set it up though. They set it up
yeah,
with him tasting that little blood from the previous episode.
yeah, yep. And I think he's really stopped eating people for probably a short amount of time, and he had been sneaking little tidbits. You know what I mean? I think Mike mentions, uh, you know, he had a finger under his pillow. You know, things
Mm.
that So yeah, he at some
Midnight
point he
snack,
definitely
right? Just
relapsed. Yeah, yeah. He
for
relapsed for
sure.
sure.
Did not expect that coming, obviously, and Jono did a really great job at that really manic
Yeah,
when Stu shows up. I was just like, holy shit.
the
Yeah,
jump.
obviously did.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
was
yeah,
great.
yeah, all of it, all of it. Let's see here. What about the hacky sack? Did you guys actually have to do it, or is that visual? They added that?
Yes, we did the hacky sack for sure, and it is not easy to do in church shoes at all. It is not easy to do at all in dress shoes at all. But we did what we could, and they put it together very well. But one thing is for sure, we had a lot of fun doing it, especially the nostalgic S that we all used to draw in school at some point.
Oh yeah.
On the hacky sack, it was very nostalgic. It was really cool.
Oh
So it was like
nice.
a trip down memory lane. I haven't hacky sacked in so long. It's
Yeah.
insane. Like,
I don't know if I'm sure I've done it. I can't remember like any specific friend that I used to do that with, but when I saw that, and at mind you, at this point, I've already had it in my mind that Vermin's kind of going through like a she's all that thing where like they did her up,
yeah.
and so that movie was kind of on my mind. So when the hacky sack happened, I go, that's another thing from She's All That, where Freddie Prinze
Hmm.
Jr. he's doing like some sort of poetry with a hacky sack, which you go
Hmm.
back and you watch and you're like
Yeah.
a little,
Yeah.
a little cringe, but I love how they brought that into Twisted Metal, and it's
Yeah.
just like Stu and Mike having a good time.
Yeah.
So, now, what else can you share about that prom episode? So much is going on. We got Back That Ass Up. We got all these. It's got there's got to be so much that was left on the cutting room floor, for pacing. What do you remember in terms of like deleted scene, extended scene, improvising? Just what else you can share from that episode?
Honestly, that was just episode where we were able to, like, once we got past the superstructure of it, there was still a lot of moving parts, right?
Yeah.
But at that point we also got to let loose more and play, because it became more about the dancing, more about the timing, more about the excitement. And the atmosphere that they created actually, it helped a lot, you know what I mean, to keep us in that mode. So yeah, I think that yeah.
Did you get to keep your the paper bag version of Mike?
No, no, I didn't get to keep the paper bag, but I definitely
That
have a
that would
picture. It was
That would
great.
have been cool. That would have been cool if everybody got to keep their own version of
Yeah,
Harold, basically.
yeah.
You know. Uh, so were you there for when Devon Sawa was there to film his
I
the
saw him
human
come in.
version of
Yes.
Harold?
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any interactions with him at all with you?
Just simple. Hey, I know he came. It was quick. He came in to work, and I think when he came in, we were going to break from filming the majority of our stuff. So just simple. Hey, in passing, love your work, and kept going.
Yeah, he was looking real nice with that brown suit.
Yeah.
That's not a color you would think that works, but I don't know if like Liz just bought that or if she actually like made that or her team rather.
Mhm.
It looked really good on him. I was
Yeah.
just like,
Yeah.
hey, I've never considered a
That's a nice
brown suit
suit.
looking like
Yeah.
that. It looks good. Looks
Yeah.
really good. Um, let's see here. So episode, okay, so that was the prom. Now, okay, so episode 10, you mentioned the bags over the head. Oh, actually, no,
Mhm.
let's talk about this. What about the putting Dave's effects into that hat and having that little send off? I love that. Mike is so emotional. Stu's like, no, I gotta just throw it
Yeah.
out the window. Yeah, yeah. So I love that moment. I love that scene. This is when Stu talks about, because we already heard from Stu telling Sweet Tooth that he wants to ride with Mike, and
Right.
so yeah, share that if you can share, that moment with Mitch there filming Mike and Stu again.
Yeah, it was all the scenes are hilarious in some way. But it was definitely funny, having that moment beforehand and like kind of like another record scratch moment. He just tosses it out the window, and I'm just like, you know. So it was it was definitely funny. I love working with Mitch.
That particular room was that where did that go out of a real window? Is what I'm
Hmm.
wondering.
Hmm.
Oh, okay. So that was the actual school, and that
Yeah,
actually went out. So was that first floor
it was
or?
first one. It was first.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay. So it didn't like fly off to the second
yeah,
one. Okay.
yeah.
I was kind of wondering. That would have been
No, we
hilarious
had
because
somebody out there.
yeah, because I found out that there was the in episode one the flashback to like young Kelly and Raven. I found out that they rebuilt the roof for one moment where young Kelly climbs up on the roof. So that wasn't a real house. That was
Mhm.
rebuilt on set. So I was kind of curious when that hat went out. I go, wait, were they in the real school? Was that a rebuilt so they
The
can throw
sets
that
are
out?
amazing. The sets are
Yeah.
amazing.
What can you share about the moment you guys the drivers show up to the final round? They get the bags off of their heads, but also what was it like to kind of see Mike up on this character banner? I don't think they show us as the audience enough of it. I honestly, the first time I saw it was I think Patty shared it. It was Patty and Stephanie kind of under their characters, and they zoom out and you see it. And so when I saw that, I go, "Oh, that's beautiful! Like, what is that?" So I had to go back and watch the episode again, or at least that scene. I was like, "Oh shit, there it is!" It's like it's in the
Yeah,
backpack,
yeah.
So what was it like to show up on set one day and just see that banner with your face on it?
It was surreal. It was a beautiful moment. I want the banner. I definitely want
Yeah,
the banner. I don't know. I just hang it over my balcony. Just like,
yeah.
no,
Use it as a blanket,
right,
or shower curtain.
right. Like but no, in all honesty, it was a beautiful moment. To walk in. First of all, that set's amazing. Like those are real cargo, shipment
Units.
containers.
Yeah,
You know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah.
Um, and the way that they stacked it all and made this arena with outer hallways and things of that nature was amazing. And so to walk into, like as an actor, before you work on a specific set or any specific set, you often try to walk the set first. You try to,
Mm.
feel the ambiance, the atmosphere that's in there, feel yourself in that space, familiarize yourself with it. And so it was just almost overwhelming, like to walk into that particular space that was built that way, and then to see the banners with all of our faces on it, all of our characters on there, and it was nothing less than a beautiful moment. It was cool.
Yeah, it really was. I love like, it feels like, Gladiator, right? The Gladiator Arena,
Yeah.
Coliseum, something like that. That's exactly what it feels like. So now, the vehicle Hammerhead is a driver's ed vehicle, so it's got two steering wheels. Uh, so I guess I was thinking about it, and from some of the interviews I've heard on the Doughboys, shout out to Mitch.
Shout out to
Um,
Mitch.
yeah, I found out that there are various setups for vehicles. There's like one with like a pod on top of the vehicles, right? And there's also vehicles with two steering wheels. That way, the stunt driver can also ride one, and then you get your coverage as the driver sitting on the opposite seat or something like that. So was Hammerhead one of those vehicles, and that's why there's two steering wheels, or was it just because it was a driver's ed vehicle that has two steering wheels?
So
You
are
get
you
what I'm
at,
asking?
are you asking did we have a pod on our car?
Well, but I'm sure there's probably versions of it, but I was trying to because of the two steering wheels, I wonder if they just like, oh, well, let's just make this, hammerhead because it's already got like the two steering wheels
Yeah, yeah.
already.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like it just made more sense
Hmm.
for sure, for sure.
Yeah, yeah,
you know.
yeah. And so they both actually control. So how are you and Mitch driving that with two steering wheels?
So Calypso stabs Mike in his shoulder. So my arm is messed up, and I'm like, you do the majority of the steering. I'll assist there because I mean, you can put the majority of your strength into that, and I'll control the pedals. You know what I mean? So, I think that they work in unison, but you can also compensate for what the other driver may be lacking, like if you move a little, quicker and stuff like that. So, yeah,
Yeah. The very first time I saw it, I thought it was more of a like a comedic visual,
yeah,
like these, the two guys, and they're just because I was just like, wait, how's that logistically possible? But I,
yeah.
they don't pay me enough to do that. I mean, I don't get paid, but you know what I mean? But it was a question I had. Um, and now what about dying on screen? Preparation for that. Were you squibbed up? I don't know what the term is.
No, so like the way that they do it, and I'll probably share a behind the scenes clip on my Instagram page too at some point. But um, I was trying to protect the Bingers,
Oh, sure,
but
sure, sure. Yeah,
yeah, you
yeah.
know what I mean. But I'll post it soon. But so it's off of vocal cues because of course the bullets and stuff that's all added in post, and things of that nature. But um, and the blood splash. But I already had the makeup on. And when we get done with our lines, I just give the reaction and they play off of that, so.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Now I completely no. Yeah, yeah. I completely missed this one other note that I had. The trial at the wishing well.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Yeah, yeah. So we get this kind of a courtroom drama or something, a courtroom comedy rather. A lot of funny things happening. And from what I've seen, you guys sharing on social media, that looks like it's actually Johnno that gets
yeah.
wheeled in or on a
It was
gurney or
Johnno.
whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Mitch actually bit Johnno's ass for to match up the teeth marks. Was that
It's they had a way about going about it like a very healthy way. It wasn't I don't think they had actual contact, but yeah, it was it
okay?
was a funny scene.
It was super
Yeah.
funny. I actually thought they made contact because there's
It's
also
angles. Yeah.
they yeah, it's the angles, but also I think they even I'll have to go back and look, but I feel there's like some sort of I I feel I remember seeing like skin being pulled off as Stu's like standing back up. Like they did something. It might just be like me misremembering, but it made me think like, did they make contact? Did they just go for it and commit? And so yeah, there's some fun stuff there for sure. I was just like, oh, they're doing this, but I did call bullshit because I was like, Dave had his pants on. There's no way he should have been as profound. And so Stu can get off on a technicality probably if he had a good lawyer.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. You mentioned the scene being funny. What was it like filming that scene with like Anthony Carrigan playing Calypso? You got Sweet Tooth, you got Samoa Joe, with the if the teeth don't fit, uh you're guilty as shit, so it's just there's so
Yeah.
much going on. A lot of fun.
Yeah. There's great delivery all around. Of course, we're laughing in between takes. We're trying to hold it until they say cut, but we'll often bust out laughing after that cut, and they'll cut laughing. You know what I mean? So that was another one just like prom, this whole setup, the ambiance that they had created, definitely added a lot to it. Hearing the wheels squeak while they're wheeling Jono in is great. Um, he was cracking up on the gurney. Um, he was laughing. We were all laughing. So
Because he has to
it
stay
was a
still for the sequence,
yeah,
right? Like,
so
yeah,
he
so
has
he
to let it out, and
while
um,
while his ass is showing.
so it's like one of those things like where your kids like somebody's like stop laughing and like you're all trying to stop, but the silence and knowing that you're all about to like bust out laughing, it doesn't help, so like yeah, it was great. It was funny.
Yeah. Now we don't see Mike again until after Stu gets his wish granted. What can you share about yeah, we see you suspended, right, in some sort of harness, and so Mike is up in space as well. But you know, I gotta say, screw Calypso for not seatbelting Mike in too. Like, like
Yeah,
you gotta
no.
make sure that he's also good too. Look, man's just floating there. What the hell?
Right.
But I'll tell you, it's a shocking reveal. I think most of us could assume like, oh, well, it's not a matter of like, is Mike gonna be dead? I think it's more like, okay, what are they gonna do with Mike? Because we know he's dead, and we know that Calypso is so twisted in granting his wishes. So, seeing him floating was shocking, but I was kind of curious to see like what it was gonna look like. But yeah, what can you share about being strapped up and filming that?
It was cool. It was really dope. I think that was my first time like being harnessed on set in that way. Um, so it was really cool. Like shifting your weight, like like you're in space type. Um, that was fun. That was my rap scene for sure.
Ah.
And just the camaraderie again, the hugs, the kind words, after rapping, that was it was really dope as well. But yeah, man, like I he my boys he was suspended, he was floating in space, so but to what you said about Calypso, like I don't know, you never know, what I'm saying? It's a twisted world, what I mean? We'll see. He's definitely dead.
Yeah,
But we'll
okay.
see what happens.
Right. Let me see. Was I thinking? I kind of lost my train of thought before. I think. Oh, you rapping. So you talked about the rap. That was your scene. So basically, when you're done with that scene, is it cut? That's a wrap on Taj. Is that basically kind of how it goes? Like,
Yeah, I mean,
how do they
whenever
announce
you get
that?
done with whenever you get done with whatever work it is that you like your last bit of work, whether it's a scene, whether it's voiceover or whatever the case may be, if you're doing that on set, once you get done with that, then they'll say that's a so and so rap on Taj or that's so and so rap on whoever, you know what I mean? And people give you a lot of love, you know what I mean? And you kind of share kind words. If anybody has rap gifts, they share those. It's just really, it's a very nice send off. You know what I mean?
Right, right. Yeah. Because I don't think I ask about those enough. It's like, what was your the moment like when you actually rapped for that character and for you to spend so much time with certain cast members, like it's got to be, like you mentioned, pretty emotional and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Um, so afterward, not afterwards, but like, I was kind of reordering my questions. I asked someone, I'll leave nameless, but I mentioned to you before we started recording. But I have a question for you. What was it like your first time karaokeing?
That was great. It was actually like it was a beautiful night. Um, I think that I worked out that day, went and read over um the scripts at the park. Got up with the gang later on. We went out to karaoke. It was a lot of us there. Some people were out of town at the time, unfortunately. But most of the gang was there, and we just had a great time of singing our hearts out from R&B to rock to I want to say there was some country in there. There were show tunes. It was great. We had a great time. Some beautiful voices in the cast. Some beautiful
Right
voices in
here.
the cast for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What were some of Taj songs? What would you put up on there if you don't mind sharing?
Oh man, what did I say? I think I did "Love" by Music Soul Child. Um,
Really? Okay.
my
Yeah,
show
yeah.
tune was um, "All I Ever Wanted" from Prince of Egypt.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Great
Hmm.
soundtrack as well.
Oh yeah, great
Gosh, I
soundtrack.
I don't know. I don't know what I would have done. I mean, I would try to like feel the room out and see what others are singing. I don't know. If we're doing like some Disney stuff, I think I would definitely throw. I would need a duet with the A Whole New World. You
Oh
know, like
yeah, that's a good
yeah,
one. Yeah.
I gets down to A Whole New World. Like other songs, some of my go-tos. I really love Savage Gardens, Truly, Madly, Deeply.
Mm,
And also Three Doors Down, Kryptonite. I don't know if
yeah.
anybody. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think I would surprise people with that one. But I love me some karaoke and I have fun with it. Did I ever try to get you to go karaoke the couple times we've linked up?
I don't think so, but we should. We should
Okay,
definitely do
we
that.
should have. I
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
man.
Because I fell in love with it. That was my first time doing karaoke in public. That was
Oh,
my
that's
first time. You know,
no, public, as in you guys didn't have your own private room.
we had our own private room, but I mean
Okay,
like in a
but
public
with other
setting.
people.
Yeah, yeah. Because usually like it's like at a party or something, they'll have a little karaoke machine, and we'll do it
Right.
that way. At home. But that was my first time doing it out. Yeah.
Yeah, it's difficult for me to do it in front of like in public when there's people I don't know. I had celebrated a 40th and it's funny because there was another party celebrating their 50th, and this is a restaurant, but they do karaoke. And like some of my people went up, and then like this other party for their the 50th birthday party, everybody was like, should be on American Idol. And we're like, man, nobody
Yeah.
wants to go back up there after these folks. But that's harder for me to do. But I do remember one time doing that because my friends they went to the DJ and they're like, hey, put on kryptonite. And
Yeah.
so they're like, oh, is there a Peter here who got kryptonite? I'm like, oh, it's like, man, I was
Gotta
like,
do
well,
it.
I got to do it. I got to do it. I can't let my boys down. But they did me dirty, because like I prefer our own private rooms because like I'll put on for my friends in a public setting, like it's more of a filter, like, okay, I got to tones down a little bit,
Mhm.
kind of thing. So yeah, it sounds like a lot of fun. As we get ready to wrap up, anything else you could remember that you can share? Yeah, and we're not trying to, embarrass anybody or anything
No,
like
no,
that, or
no,
get
no.
anybody in trouble. But
Absolutely not.
any fun things, like some a moment where you guys are playing around with prosthetics, just having a good time, some behind the scenes stuff for the audience, for the viewers here.
Hmm. Um,
Just fun behind the scenes stories from set that we may not get to
there's
see
so
like on social
many.
media.
Like, I'm trying to figure out like which ones. Um, I tell you, what I can say, I can tell you which set that I wish I had have been on because it made me laugh so hard. The ice skating scene.
Oh yeah.
Oh man, like I can just imagine, still doing the penguin across the eyes, the baby, it's just, oh my gosh, I wish I would have been there.
Stu
Uh,
had a quite a interesting season. He got beat up by an old lady, and then
yeah,
he got shot by a baby,
yeah,
and then yeah,
had to go
yeah,
down a
the
conveyor
penguin thing.
belt. Yeah, it was crazy. Yeah,
Did I win a contest or something?
right.
Yeah,
Um, it was um, it was an amazing season behind the scenes. Oh, great memory. Johnno had a birthday, and some of the cast got him a cake. It was with a butt, so he had the first bite had to be out the butt. It was hilarious, and that was an
yeah,
ode to his scene. It was great. I think there have been some posts about that on some of our Instagram posts. You know what I mean? But
yeah,
um, my favorite memories. Of course, we built great memories on set, but I think that some of my favorite outside of that for sure were the time that we spent off set. You know what I mean? Like going to dinner, walking the town, walking Toronto, Um, those were like they were very beautiful nights. We had a great time. Yeah.
yeah. It was the friendships that you made,
Hmm.
like yeah, off camera and stuff. Yeah,
Hmm.
that's beautiful. I love that. What were aside from the karaoke, and we'll end it with this. Was there anything else that you can share um that we may not see, for whatever reason, but just that you guys did that was a lot of fun. I've heard several stories about the eating from listening to the Doughboys,
Mm,
and we've seen the karaoke's, which there's plenty of footage, but nobody's releasing those, and I totally
yeah,
understand.
yeah.
But yeah, what else did you guys do up in Toronto that was a lot of fun?
Um, there's, the X. So first of all,
Mm.
I went to see the Toronto's I think it's TFC, Toronto soccer team. I got to
Oh,
see one
okay.
of their games. And after that, went to the X, which is Toronto's fair. And it is huge, like has 5 or 6 sections of like different stuff, like whether it be games, rides, showings and things of this nature, like, but each section has a little bit of everything, just primarily whatever that section is
Mm.
about. So like I got up with some of the cast and crew, went to the soccer game, went to the fair, got to try a lot of different foods, with Mitch. Um, we they have like they set up like these booths inside of this convention center or whatnot, this particular section, and it's like at least 100 like pop-up food trailers. You know what I mean? Like it's
Yeah.
really like all different types of food. And so we had a blast that day. You know what I mean? We tried a lot of stuff. They had like thrifting events for like vintage stuff. You know what I mean? I'm a big thrifter. I love vintage like
Mm.
anything, and that's really how you kind of find true vintage stuff, retro things. So like if I see one of those, like I'm trying to be there, you know. But it was all really cool. So that's some behind the scenes offset, stuff that we did. Yeah,
Did you try anything different for the first time in terms of food?
I did. I one thing, well, a lot, but one thing that I remember for sure is they had these. I can't remember the name of the place. I know I have a picture of it. Um, but they had these chicken tenders or whatnot.
Not people finger.
Not
Okay.
no. I'm gonna tell
Okay.
Johnno. No, no. They had these chicken tenders that were like different flavors, like, but they were wild flavors. Like they had chocolate, they had like Ritz
Oh.
Cheese It or something. Then they had like there was something else that had this sauce that looked like green Nickelodeon slime, but the sauce was
Mm.
good. It did not
Mm.
look, and the texture was not the way it looked. Like it wasn't slimy or anything like that. But it had just like a mild little kick to it. But and they had like all dressed and something. I feel like I'm missing one, but like they just had like
Mm.
these wild flavors, but they were really, really good. You know,
That green sauce, that was that like avocado, or is that more like a
mm,
cilantro, or you're not sure, huh?
I can't remember. I know it
Yeah.
had. One thing I know it had in there was lime, but it was something else. But it was the color like of that neon greenish Nickelodeon
Yeah.
slime, though. You know,
Oh, I remember Double
it's,
Dare and all that.
yeah,
Mm.
you know. But it was really cool. It was really good.
Um, Now, okay, how about this? So some of the episodes, like watching back, right? Like the episodes that Mike was not in. What were some things that really stood out for you, like in the final episodes, or the final three? Like minus the final round and Mike in space. What was something that you weren't there for, but like your reactions were just so strong watching it in the final
Mm.
episodes? Like, we got the cabin scene with John Quiet and Mayhem,
Yeah.
stuff like that. The fight sequence with Minion, the reveal. I don't know
Seeing
if you were privy to that.
yeah, no, no, like seeing that who Minion was, that was like, you know what I mean? Like what? Type of thing.
So
That was
you
really cool.
also didn't know. So you
Mm-mm.
also
No,
didn't
I,
know.
I I
Yeah,
did not know. I did not know. They kept that one. Yeah, it was really good.
real close
So
to
I
the
was like,
chest. Yeah.
no, yeah, like, that was really cool. Of course, all of the explosions. Um, let's see who. Oh, the scene between um Mayhem, Quiet, John, and Axel. Where he sacrifices,
Oh yeah,
himself.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Hmm.
that was really dope. Heartfelt moment.
Yeah,
Um,
I was hoping for just a little bit more. I feel, I'm sure those that had input, I think they would say like the show gave us enough to kind of make that decision ourselves, but I was hoping for a little bit more of a just a I don't know which term to use, but I was hoping to get a little bit more of the Axel and Mayhem. I wanted something kind of like, is that for real her?
yeah.
Like I get that she got the little hairband is the
The
blanket.
blanket.
Right, like it's is that, but I almost want to like, well, he's sacrificing himself. I kind of want just a little bit more to be like, that was definitely her. I think more so it's because I want her to know that as a baby, this was the guy,
That saved her.
that
Yeah.
kind of saved you from that situation,
Yeah.
away from the drugs and stuff. Albeit that you got captured by vultures, but
Yeah.
you know what
Yeah.
I mean? So
No, and
I
I
was hoping just
understand.
for a little bit more. Yeah,
Maybe the future might bring that. I don't know. It's a twisted universe. You never know
it is.
what could happen. So,
We still need an announcement about a season three. First off,
right. Yeah,
that's the
yeah,
other thing. Yeah,
yeah.
I keep getting people asking. Well, I'm like, dude, I don't know, but I think and it's actually flattering that people think I might know before most people. Well, number one, I'm not gonna leak anything that's not official, right?
Yeah.
And number two, I think I just keep my pulse a little bit more on all of you guys. Like I'm looking at everything, and so yeah, I think it's super flattering that people do turn to me for the news. I actually had another fan account. It is actually Stephanie's fan account. She's a fan of Stephanie. Reached out and was like, "Oh, well, you're my source for Twisted Metal news." That meant the world because that's what I'm trying to do. I want to be your
Yeah.
source, And so
Love
I
that. You're
appreciate
doing a
that. Yeah,
great job, man.
thank you,
Yeah,
Tahj. You've been
absolutely.
a long time supporter. I mean, we met before season one came out.
Yeah.
I I I remember looking through back at like some of my content just to see what I could like reshare, and I completely forgot like how when we first met up, and then we went to like another place because maybe the other place was closing down, but
Yeah.
when we met back up on the street, and I did that little like dun, 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 like I was shaking.
Yeah,
I forgot I even did that.
yeah.
I think I might have already had at least a drink by that time too. So yeah, good times, man. Good times.
Yeah.
Taj, you've been so generous with your time. Is there anything that we can keep an eye out for that you're able to either promote or just tease that might be in the works for you?
There's a project in particular that I wish that I could say yes, but I can't say anything about it just yet. But there'll be something coming out. Well, actually, first there's one I can say something about. P Valley. Y'all keep an eye out for P Valley. That season will be coming very soon. People have been asking. It's going to be coming. So just stay tuned. And the other project that I can't speak about is going to come out for sure in the spring. And it's a big one. So I'll be able to say more when we get closer to time.